In the last 2 episodes, we talked about the 2 paradoxes of stress. The first was, if you have a meaningful life, you'll have a stressful life. You stress because you care. Number 2, stress can be helpful or harmful. You decide which one. Stress can actually be super helpful and life-enhancing. But how do we actually do that? How do we make stress our superpower instead of our kryptonite? It all starts with knowing what stress really is. You see, many of us have learned that stress is our fight or flight response. We see a tiger and our body systems get all jacked up by that adrenaline and cortisol, so we can wrestle or run a race against that tiger. We're told that the problem with stress is that we start thinking everything is stressful, and we think everything is a tiger, so we overreact to everything. We're taught our stress response is so bad it'll kill us, and we need to fix it. But we're stressed because something we care about is at stake. There's meaning there. And most importantly, we feel stress to help us do something about it. Yep, that's right. Your stress response is there to help you. Your body's stress response actually gets you ready to face your challenges. Stress isn't there to make you feel bad, although it might feel like it. Think of it as nature's cup of joe. It gets you ready to rock and roll. So let's look at all that cup of stress does for you. It gives you strength and energy, so your liver dumps fat and sugar into your bloodstream for fuel. It helps you use that fuel better. So stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, they help your muscles and brain use that energy better. It gives you super brain powers. Your brain processes stuff faster and adrenaline makes your senses better. It gives you confidence, power, and motivation. So endorphins and adrenaline, testosterone, dopamine, they all get you motivated and brave. It also inspires you to take care of and connect with others. So oxytocin wants you to connect to your tribe. And it helps you to learn for the future. So stress leaves an imprint on your brain, so you get better and better at stress and at your life. We've been taught that there's only one kind of stress on the menu, but it turns out your body can order up more than one stress response. There's a threat response. So this is when you think that whatever you're up against is bigger than you and you don't have the resources to handle it. Your goal is to not get hurt or not die. This is that fight or flight response that you've heard so much about. But there's also something called a challenge response. This is when you need energy to go after what you want. You're trying to reach a goal and you feel safe. This feels more like the exhilaration from physical exercise. So think of it as 2 different brews. The challenge response is kind of like a latte. There's more of a heart-healthy response. It gives you energy. Your feelings are more positive, like excitement. They're energized, enthusiastic, confident. You perform better. And your brain is more likely to learn perseverance. When you want to perform well and you aren't in danger, a challenge response is the most helpful stress response. The threat response is like a double espresso. It gets you ready for self-defense and protection. Your body wants to prevent you from bleeding out in a fight, so your blood vessels constrict and your body ramps up inflammation. And all those things can be harmful for your body long term. Emotions are more negative, like fear, anger, self-doubt, or shame. And it rewires your brain so that you're always on the lookout for future threats. So you're more reactive to negative things. The threat response is an unhealthy response unless you might actually get attacked. So when you're faced with stress, your brain decides what cup of joe you need for energy, a latte or a double espresso, a challenge response or a threat response. The problem is that most of us don't get to order the stress cup of joe we want. Our brainy barista just serves us our usual. And this all ties in with that last episode where we talked about how stress could be helpful or harmful. If your usual stress response is a challenge response, then long-term you'll be like those people in the study who said stress was helpful. They had a challenge response to stress, even big stress, and their lives and health were better for it. And if your usual stress response is a threat response, well, then you'll age faster, get sicker, and you may even die years before your time. So if you want to perform well and you aren't in danger, a challenge response latte is best. So remember, your stress response is there to help you connect with what you care about and then do something about it. And most of the time, the challenge response is the cup of energy you want. So how can you make sure that your brainy barista serves up a challenge response instead of a threat response? Well, tune into the next episode to find out how.